Hello,
World.
this is your host Jack and my co-host.
Jacob.
So this week on Tech Futurist, I bought some new stuff for between last recording and this recording.
I actually
Although,
did too. I got one of the same things that you did.
well, yeah, because I told you to get it because it's pretty good. So, although the last episode has been up because my Wi-Fi has been on the fritz, so I'll post it as soon as possible before this video comes out. That way, it makes more sense. But anyways, so last week Sunday, it was until the after podcast that I got my stuff that I bought, which is the quote unquote MagSafe wire cable cord. I don't know the technical term.
Charging cable.
Yeah, charging cable. And the reason why I say it's MagSafe is it's because it's not called MagSafe, but it has that functionality.
It's called
Uh,
the magnetic charging cable, but it essentially functions exactly like the old MacBook's MagSafe cable,
yeah. So
which they're great.
yeah,
Like, Jack got me to get the one that he's about to talk about, but I did have one before. I actually, one of my MacBooks, I converted it to MagSafe because with laptops, you need to be very careful because if those go flying, well, there goes like $2,000. But
yeah,
I did have another MagSafe thing on my headphones. I love the new one
yeah. So
that he told me to
I
get.
think about a couple like at least a year or two ago, you were talking about getting MagSafe or that particular one you had before. Yeah, you talked about getting it or you got it.
No,
Um,
no, no, I definitely got it because I have the cable
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
somewhere.
When I'm saying that a couple years ago, you said you got it, and I was hesitant on getting it, and I'm kind of glad I kind of was, mainly because I feel like these were better.
Oh
Um,
no, they're a lot better. So one of the coolest things about them is that like they're one of the ones where you could like move the tip 90 degrees and all over the place, and it
yeah,
also kind of swivels, which is incredibly nice, and it does charge a lot better than my old one because I also got the other one so long ago. Like
yeah. I
I
think it was
plugged it into an iPhone that I have lying around, and like within 30 minutes it was at like 86.
yeah. So in a way, back then, like a couple years ago, it was like first introduced for phones. So I was kind of
Well,
hesitant. It was
well,
I
yeah,
would yeah
which of
yeah
course.
yeah. So now it's like a couple years later, everything should be better, faster. Um,
Keyword here is should.
should. Now the cable comes in two parts. One is the input to your device, and obviously your output, which is the USB A, which is the charging cable. So for this particular one, I got the three cable, and per cable comes with three different inputs, namely the Lightning cable input, USB C, and micro USB. So each one cable comes in one. So meaning when you get three, which is the one that I got, you get nine uh, inputs, three of which are USB C, Lightning cable, and micro USB respectively. Where Jacob, he only got two. I was like, it, you save a
Eh,
dollar if
I
you get three.
Yeah, but I really don't need all of them. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I literally have one of each plugged into three different devices. I have one in an old iPhone. I have one in my Nexus 5X because I can't put one in my Pixel 2 because I use that for development, and it doesn't fit in my Pixel 4 XL because of the case. But I also have the micro USB one in my headphones.
Yeah,
So, and literally, I have the case because those plugs came in a case. I have three left, and it's
yeah,
one of each. Won't ever use the iPhone one, probably.
yeah,
And the other two, I'm just waiting to get a new device to use them in. I could actually probably put it in my Stadia controller now that I think about it.
yeah. I'm gonna do that, but later. So for me, on the other hand, I gave one cable to my mom because I was like, let's just have her use it. So she took one of the iPhone plugs. Then my sister was like, I told my sister, if you want it, you gotta pay $8, which is about like per cable I paid for. So she gave me $8. I gave her two
Jeez,
iPhone
what a
ports,
savage.
two iPhone. Yeah, I know. Two iPhone inputs, and one micro USB because she needs it for the power bank that she bought. And the power bank she bought is called the RAV Power. I initially got one before her. Well, duh. Um, it's at 26,800 milliamps per hour. The one she got was the upgraded version of it, which is the 32,000 milliamps per hour. Is that right? Is that the right amount of numbers? I think it is.
Yeah, just say yes.
Yeah, it is. The reason why I say these numbers is because most of your standard flagship companies like Samsung and Anchor or any other power banks usually like not caps, but like so far I only see them up to 10,000 milliamp hour, not past the 20,000 yet. So when I got my power bank like 4 years ago, that was the highest for that time, and it's still pretty high. Um, and I only paid like what $30 $40 for it. So compared to everyone else who's paying
Yes, you
$34.
did, because you wouldn't shut up about it for like. You still don't shut up about
Okay,
it.
well, okay. When you go to Samsung, you buy one of their fucking power banks, and they're like 10,000 milliamp hours. Those are $80. I'm,
Oh no, I'm not saying it wasn't a bad deal. I'm just saying you never shut up about it.
okay, I got more than double of it for half the price. But anyways, I
Yes, I
digress.
know.
I digress. Um, so the good parts of these cables is that it's MagSafe. So if you're charging something, someone comes by, accidentally kicks the cable flies, not the phone, because it's magnetically disconnect. Um, and another thing that Jacob pointed out is the 360. So basically, you can plug in, you can literally like snap the magnet into the input. Oh yeah, so the input has to be on the device. You can't just have it on top of the cable and then plug it in. I mean, you could do that, but it really
It
isn't.
just takes a little effort.
Yeah, it's not meant
And
to
then
be.
when you take it off, then it takes a little more effort
Yeah,
to take the little. I call it a pacifier. I know it's not called a pacifier,
yeah,
but I don't know why. I just find the concept of calling like the little
inputs.
adapter thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the adapter thing a pacifier.
Okay,
Because
so
like you put it in, and then like
it
you have the little
pacifies the
thing on the
phone.
end. It pacifies the phone. Shh, shh.
It's something. There's something there. It's fine. Uh,
Don't you
so
worry. Power's coming soon, baby.
yeah, so from the cable, it's a 360. So basically, you can literally just snap it on for any degree. There's no like you have to be this side or that side. Then it also has the 90-degree turn or angle. Basically, it doesn't have to be straight. It can be up and down. Well, 180 in this at this point because
Which
it
is incredibly helpful. One of the issues that I was running into constantly when Jack and I were living together is I would be lying in my bed because our room was literally the size of a jail cell. Probably half the size because, we both had our own sides of it.
yeah,
And, I would just kind of have my phone on my chest with charging, and the cable would be bent all the time. And I think like 1 month I went through like two or three cables.
yeah. You went
I was
through a
like,
lot.
yeah, I was like, okay, this is not cool. I'm wasting money on cables. And then I got like a 90-degree cable.
Yeah,
And like I think I stuck with that until
a
I
little
think
longer
until
than
like
you know. Yeah,
no, I think I stuck with it for like the next like 2 years before it just kind of wear and tear on it.
yeah. I
But
mean,
this one is like so much nicer because you can move it in direction, unlike the one that I had got, which was static. Because there were times in which I would have to turn my phone the other way, and then the cable was still kind of being bent. But this one, oh, you're turning it the other way? It got you. You just swivel it around or flip it around.
yeah. It's literally it's 180 plus the 360 swivel. So it's
Yeah.
it's it's a huge
It's not even like just full 360 of everything. It's basically like a 720. of
Yeah,
whatever you want, as long as
yeah,
it doesn't go like inversed.
yeah, exactly. No, so the only drawback I have on it so far is that whenever you try to use a power bank, um, the output of the power bank doesn't really have enough support, quote unquote. Meaning the output doesn't stay long enough. So when I charge my phone, it does a cable charge because it's not fast charging like if you plug into the wall. It shows like hour 30, 2 hours, which is normal for a cable charge. Then you wait, you don't even wait a minute, and it jumps up to 3 hours, 4 hours, and
Uh,
eventually it'll stay around 5 hours
I guess
within.
that does make a little sense because it's like as even though it is connected, I guess it does have that little bit of jankiness to it.
Yeah, I think it probably like dissipates because of the magneticness. Because it like the power bank doesn't, for what it is, power banks shouldn't be outputting that much unless you get the high voltage ones for like your Macs and stuff. Like you can charge your Macs on that. That's
Yeah,
a
the
different
ones
story.
that end up just being a portable wall.
Yeah, yeah. But normal power banks don't have, they have at least a 2.4 output, which is not a lot compared to like a 16, no, 15 watt to a 30 watt and 45 watt um uh AC adapters. But yeah, that's the
Well,
only
yeah, they're not
downside.
made for those kinds of things.
Yeah,
They're basically made to be like, hey, you're low on charge. There's no place in, like, let's say, a 5 mile radius, and you need to charge your phone somehow. Use this, and your phone could probably, and it will probably let you make it to a charging port.
yeah. But yeah, but the thing is when I change over to a wired connection, like without the magnetic or the MagSafe portion of it, it's more steady. So that's the only downside for me, is that if I want to use the power bank, I'm better off using the wired cable rather than the magnetic ones. Um,
Yeah, with my headphones, I think like, and I'd say that's a lot more accurate for a phone. But I think with something like headphones, it probably would be completely fine just to use MagSafe.
Probably, I don't know. I mean, heck, with the amount of phones we have and the amount of AC adapters that we have given from them, I'm pretty sure we're okay for the next few years. I mean,
Well,
albeit Apple doesn't have any IC adapters to do phones, but
with my headphones, I basically like, while I do still carry around the USB A to micro USB cable, if I don't have to use it, I 100% won't. Just
yeah,
because it's just kind of annoying. The cable's also really, really short. So if I
hmm
want to charge it, I can't have my headphones on the stand. Like, I have to keep it so close that it's just not worth it.
Oh, I also need to point this out. I don't think I mentioned it too. These magnetic cables, you can connect it. Basically, just one cable can connect to all these pacifiers. There's no like, it needs to be the same input. So basically, if you have a lineup of a micro USB, a Lightning cable, or an iPhone, and any other phone that uses USB-C, you can literally plug all three of them with the same cable. Because
Yeah, and that's one of the good parts about it is you're just putting the pacifier in, but the adapter part of it is the same across all. Although this is one thing that I don't like about magnetic cables is there's so many differences across different kinds.
yeah, there is no unified design in this case.
Yet,
Um,
hopefully, yet, because as soon as there's a unified design, I think they'll get that much better. Because as it stands, let's say the cable breaks somehow.
yeah.
Like, you're charging something and some random weirdo comes by with scissors and cuts it because, he's just a huge dick, right?
Mhm.
Then you can't just get a cable. And you can't just get any random magnetic cable. You have to get that one specific
Or at
cable.
least the one that has the same adapter.
But it is so incredibly. I can't.
I don't,
Um,
and the thing is, I don't think even like your local stores sell these like magnetic ones.
they won't. They'll probably have some other off-brand one.
Well, yeah, and the really shitty regular cable ones. Hey, this is why I bought 6 cables. I gave
No,
2 away.
oh, right, you did say. I thought you just meant three.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There is, you know, they are great. I just got the 2-1 because what do I need 6 for? I'm one person.
Okay. First off, I for the first 3 I gave one to my mom. Okay, and
No,
then
you already said all that.
yeah, and then the second one my sister bought one off for me. So I have 4 cables on hand. I have 2 cables plugged in. One is charging my watch. One is just charging something else. Then I have another cable I have on me, in my backpack, and then I have another cable just sitting around.
No,
So
like
yeah.
again, don't get me wrong. I get it, but as soon as there is that unified approach,
Oh yeah.
kind of like what USB-C is becoming.
Mm-hmm.
USB-C is becoming that universal port, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been on USB-C since my Nexus 5X,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm all for USB-C.
I just want to say I have a little problem here. I took a gander at my desk. I noticed I have one, two, three, four, five, at least 6 USB-C cables.
Ah, yeah,
Most of them.
and that's like the best part. It's like we are going the way of USB-C.
Well, no. I'm saying like I bought these 3 other cables just so I could have these cables that just in case it breaks on me. But the point is, I haven't been using them. The wear and tear isn't that bad, mainly because I just been using it normally, or just have my phone plugged in most of the time because I'm always in my bed thanks to the pandemic. But back on campus, we would just plug it in and just throw it, and it would just either hit the floor or whatever. So the wear and tear on that perspective is a lot more than me throwing on my
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
But
Now that we're not living in a dorm, we do take a lot better care of these cables.
yeah, but what I'm
You
trying to
know,
say
like
is I
actually
have
the main charger, the really good charger that I used on campus, I basically still kind of use like that. But when I throw it off, it will it hits carpet.
yeah.
The other thing is like it is kind of breaking, and I am gonna need to find a new a new
Okay,
main cable soon.
honestly, I would give you a few of my cables because I literally have two. That's
Well,
2
no,
that's
no, no.
out of the
I
box.
have more than enough. I have more than enough. I've
I
had 3 Google phones. I
oh
don't.
shush. You know how many cables I have? I have 2 that's out in a box. I have 3 more somewhere tucked away. Because I'll use it sometime in the future. So it's tucked away, literally.
Jack, don't even get me started. You know how many USB-C cables that? Well, you probably. I mean, I don't. I mean, I also just got the Pixel Buds like within the last month or two, and that's also USB-C. So I have a cable from that too.
Okay. Like I
My
said, I have
Stadia controller came with the USB-C cable.
my Stadia controller that I got yesterday also came with one. Okay, so
That's what
shush.
I'm saying. I have the cable.
I have way too many cables. I also
Me,
you know what
me
you don't
too.
have? I don't think you have this. Well, maybe you do. Never mind. Yeah, you do because you had it first. It's just the USB C to USB C.
They came with the phone.
I know. I got it when I bought the 45-watt charger.
Oh, real quick, we are gonna go into the Stadia controller because Jack just got his like.
Yeah, as I literally just said, like I got one yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So we are gonna get into that. I've had my controller for a long time. I got the Founders Edition,
I'm
but
so
we'll get
mad.
into that a little later. Let's
or,
continue
or
our cable conversation.
okay. I mean, there isn't much more to say about the cable, other than I have way too many cable.
So,
Uh,
so do I. I think that's one of the things. Like in this day and age, people just end up getting way too many cables, just for the same reasons that we have so many. It's like I need this one just in case this one breaks,
breaks. Yeah.
but I also need a travel one, but I
Hmm.
need another one in case that one breaks.
Yeah.
And then I need like 3 more for all of my other devices, and then I need one more in case each of those break. It's like
Exactly.
like we are being a little too careful, but all of those reasons are justified because of our experiences with cables.
Oh yeah,
You know,
oh yeah.
at this point, I haven't like the last cable I got was the one that you kind of got me to get, but I haven't
Mhm.
gotten a cable since like the last big product purchase.
Yeah, it's like the only reason I wanted these new cables, I mean, like the magnetic cable ones, it's because it's a new cable magnetically, and it's like
Yeah,
it makes
and don't
what
get me wrong,
basically
I have used them. It's
it,
just, and
what
I'm
it
not saying it's wrong.
what it basically does, it lowers the amount of cables that I need to have on hand, meaning
Exactly.
or using, because like before all these
Now
magnetic
you don't
cables.
need one for each
Mm,
device. You have this one. Well, that is also another kind of bad thing because now you have one for three devices.
yeah,
Something happens to that one, you start to get a little screwed. It,
unless you have the
it
old ones, which I do.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and then there's this, and then there's that, and it all kind of gets to
like
it all just kind of gets to an annoying level that there's just not much
well, the
we
one
can
thing
do.
I want to say before I think we can end this segment is that I realize I know this is a little off topic now. I don't have like a notepad with me to write down the timestamps to put more pictures. Okay, so in the last week's video, I decided to maybe put timestamps so that way we can I have better pictures to the things we're talking about. And this time I'm just like
just get a picture of like just like a line, not even a cable, just a line.
so you know what? Since we're still on the topic of the cable, I'm gonna grab a uh, pen, paper.
Sorry, a little blah 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 behind the scenes action here.
Yes. Let's get you open.
So as you
Um,
do that, should I talk a little bit about Stadia?
there was one thing I wanted to say. I don't
Oh,
remember. I just
okay.
lost my
Well,
train of thought.
whatever. It must not have been that
It
important.
was important. It was something about cables.
Well,
Oh,
apparently it wasn't.
oh no, yeah,
Oh,
because no, we were on the topic of how we have backup cable to the blah blah blah.
yeah,
I guess that was it. I don't
yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, well.
All right, moving on to Stadia. So, for those of you who don't know, Stadia is Google's streaming gaming platform where instead of getting actual games, you are paying for the games and they are yours, but you're not downloading the games. You're not getting hard copies of the game. You're streaming the games. So, essentially speaking, you could play games like Watch Dogs, you could play AAA titles, you could play Cyberpunk Cyberpunk 2077
When it comes
coming
out.
out. Yeah, when it comes out, and as of this date, it's coming out. I think December 10th.
Yeah.
Um, like you are able to play those games on even a device like an on just like a phone, even because all
Um.
you're doing is you're just. I mean, you probably don't want to play that game on a phone, but
Yeah.
like if you have a Chromecast, you could stream the game onto any
Well,
HDMI
Chromecast Ultra,
Chromecast Ultra, yes,
because the original
and Google TV.
when it
In the
comes
first,
out.
yeah, in first half of 2021,
Yeah.
which that's when we're probably going to get the Google TV. We don't have one yet. We really do want it,
Yeah.
but like I have a Chromecast Ultra that I actually have a few Chromecasts, but I got the Founders Edition, like I had said earlier, so I have the Chromecast Ultra.
So the
There's
founders, just so a little preference, is that this founders edition is where Stadia was like first launching, and
Yeah,
you
it didn't even
basically
come out yet
yeah
at that time.
at that time for the founders edition, and you're basically paying, I think it was like 140 or something like that.
I think more 120 maybe.
Was it that cheap?
E- Essentially, what you got is you got a navy blue controller. My favorite color being blue, I had to say yes.
Which
Well, actually,
they call it midnight blue, but okay.
yeah, midnight blue, which I love. I think, yeah. So I have a Mini Coupe as my car, which is also midnight blue.
Okay, that doesn't look like midnight blue compared to the controller. Okay, your
No, no,
blue
no,
is
no, no. It's a different finishing. It's a different finishing.
okay. Fine. Um,
They're both midnight blues, but because of the finishing, they look different. Anyway, So then it also came with the Chromecast Ultra, which I think is normally like like 60, $70.
I think it's like I don't know. I
So
looked it up. It was like around like 30, 40. I mean,
the Chromecast Ultra,
I look. Here's the thing. I was thinking about either getting just the controller or the Premier Edition, and I was trying to look up for the Chromecast Ultra, and for whatever reason, they don't have that in stock. I think it was hard to find. Um,
yeah, it's like $70. I just
is
looked
it
it up.
okay?
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty cheap, but
no, no,
um,
no, no. That was the thing where like I mean, don't get me wrong. If it was only $30, I would have gotten the Chromecast Ultra on its own because I have a few normal Chromecasts
yeah.
lying around, but the Chromecast Ultra, that was like premium. It
Hmm.
can do 4K Ultra HD, which if you have a 4K TV through Stadia, you could stream 4K games, which I do have a 4K TV, and the games look really damn nice.
Um, what was I gonna say? So yeah,
So
so the
Jax
Founders
finally
Edition.
gave in.
Wait, hold on. I will continue on Founders Edition.
True, true, true.
Because we didn't specify what had in it. When Jacob showed me it, it basically had the controller, which is the special midnight blue for Founders people. Then you get a name tag that doesn't have a number behind it. You get like stars.
Oh, right. I don't have a number behind
Yeah,
it.
to show off that you are a founder.
That I'm one of the originals.
Yeah, and then you get like 3 months free of Pro. The Pro Stadia Pro costs about $10 a month,
Yeah,
which is
which
not a lot.
it really isn't compared to like PlayStation Gold or what Pro or whatever they call it. I'm forgetting, and Xbox subscription and stuff. It's pretty cheap, especially for like the kinds of games they have, and just like like the biggest thing that I loved about it when it was first coming out was the concept.
Yeah,
And like, and don't get
I
me
was.
wrong, like a lot of people are saying Stadia is kind of failing. I actually don't think so. I've had very, very few problems with it. My only thing is that a lot more of the games that I want to play are on Nintendo Switch. That's
Yeah.
my biggest thing for not playing it that often. But you know, I love the concept. I love the concept that you are playing a full-on AAA title on a Chromecast. Like,
Mhm.
yes, I know you're streaming, but if you take a step back, that's basically what it is. And I
Yeah.
and that thought is just like it blows my mind. It still blows my mind.
So so in this case, the founders when he showed me, and I was really hesitant. It was over the summer too, and I was working, and I was really hesitant whether or not to get it. Now, after that, I was so
Now,
happy.
a little more than a year later,
I am so regretful. Like, if I could go back, I would definitely get the Founders Edition. Because
that's the
granted,
one thing that he would do.
so far, I mean, there's a lot more other things I would do, but this one it's a little change that shouldn't have a much a butterfly effect. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah,
Butterfly
blah.
butterfly effect on anything. Mainly because it's only me paying paying 140 or something dollars for the Founders Edition and
Yeah.
getting my name tag, without numbers behind it and cool little stars
Yeah,
coming up there.
it is pretty friggin' nice to
But
have that. All things considered, like that part is completely just like a little like ego
cherry
part.
on top, kind of thing.
Yeah, cherry on top. Thank you. But like it doesn't really help you with anything. Like in a vid, like there's nothing in games where it's like if you are a founder, you get
Perks,
you start with like one like plus one level or something. If Stadia
there's
had swag, actually, does Stadia have swag?
I won't be surprised if they do. I think they do. Um, because we got Google merch. But anyways, uh,
No, 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 this is different.
well, you go look it up. I'm gonna talk about the Stadia controller. So
Yeah.
as we were talking, I got the Stadia controller yesterday. I was so somewhat hell bent on getting it after knowing that Cyberpunk 2077 could be played on Stadia, and I don't have any of the PlayStations nor any of the Xboxes, and
Ah, there's none.
Yeah, and I don't plan on getting an Xbox 5 or Xbox X Series X or X Series
or
S.
the latest PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm not really planning on getting it. And to be honest, Cyberpunk 2077, I have no inkling of what it is before. All I know is that the bandwagon is huge, and I want to jump on it.
And it
That's
is on Stadia.
yeah,
That's the biggest reason why we even are bringing it up.
yeah, and well, also because I got a controller for it. So the controller is $69.99, and then plus your tax, depending on what you live at. For New York, I paid about 75 after tax. And when I Google, for whatever reason, as Jacob has told me before, they're really on point with their shipping. So
Their shipping game is on point. Like they
it's
beat
crazy.
out Amazon at sometimes.
Yeah. So
I'm
like,
like, I swear, it is freaky. Like I'll get like when I was getting my Pixel 4, they were like, "Oh, it'll be there in 2 weeks." Like midway through the first week,
you got it.
I got it. I was like, "Hold on, I wasn't ready for this."
Yeah. So for it said November 5th to like 6th or 7th or something like that when I first placed the order. Then I got the shipping info. I was like, oh, it
When did you place the order? When did you place the order?
was like last Thursday, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
last
I
Thursday.
just wanted to make sure that people know when it started.
Okay, okay. Last Thursday, I need to give them the date to make it more instead of just saying last Thursday. I got
The
it.
28th.
Let me come on, phone.
Uh,
Respond.
31, 30. Yeah, I think the 28th.
20. No, 29th is the date. Let me. You know what? Let me just go open up my receipt while I talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
I'll
basically,
couldn't. Oh, yeah, go on.
yeah. Okay, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna talk more about Stadia, but you go ahead.
I was just gonna talk out of my ass, honestly. Okay, I got it. Uh, October 29th is when I placed the order. Right?
Yeah, and
It
when did you
was
get it?
okay. Hold on. Let me talk further on. So and then it said prediction November 5th to 6th. Okay, all right. A couple hours later, I got an information saying it was shipped. I'm like, oh, okay. I clicked on FedEx. It said, October 31st, in the beginning. Then it went to November. No, sorry. It said November 1st in the beginning. Then it went to October 31st. No, it's the other way around. Fuck. Sorry. Okay. When I clicked on the info, there was nothing there. And I waited a couple more hours before they shipped it, from FedEx shipping point. It said October 31st. Like, okay. And this at this point is already Friday, and not even an hour later, I checked it again because I'm always anxious about getting new things. Then it said
Yeah,
November
me
1st.
too.
Then it said November 1st. Like, oh, okay. Later that night, around 11 p.m., I checked it again, and I saw it said October 31st. Like, wait a minute, what? What? When did it? How? What?
Wait, it gets better.
It gets faster. I'm like, how the heck? So I texted Jacob with the initial D deja vu, and it says, and he completely missed it because
Oh
he
yeah,
called me
because you sent it at like
11 p.m.
11 or 12 o'clock. I was asleep.
Yeah, at least you woke up, sent me something else, and then I was
Yeah,
like, how
like
can you not see it?
hours later. No, I did
Nine.
see it. No, I did see it, but I think what went through my mind was like you had sent it like that morning at like 1 in the morning. Actually, I do think that I remember seeing that. It was like, oh, okay. It was like I think I remember seeing like, oh, he sent it at 1 because I missed because it was 11:30 and I just didn't see one of the ones in 11. I think that's what it was because I was like, no, wait, you said it was supposed to be coming like tomorrow.
Or today was recording.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What he meant is like November 1st. So
yeah, yeah.
I was like, no, I told you last night at 11 that
And now suddenly you're realizing what through my mind.
yeah, I was like, holy shit, I got this thing 4 days faster than they're expecting. Like they expected
Than
for this
just their initial estimation.
estimation. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Oh, wow.
Google shipping game is on point.
Oh yeah, it's on point. When we bought the Google merch, like because they have
Yeah,
Google
when we
merch
bought the
stores.
Google merch, it came like the same week we ordered it.
Yeah, I was like surprised. Honestly, I was
Like,
very
if Google
surprised.
started an Amazon thing, I'd probably just do them because it's so good. Actually, I
Well,
probably wouldn't at first until it gets better, and I don't think they will, just because
well, I think
you
I
know
think that I
they're
think the
already in an antitrust lawsuit.
yeah, but for Google, I think they use FedEx exclusively because for both of for me, both of the shipments were through FedEx.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're completely right.
But still,
It's it's just like amazing, like the speed and the care for some of that. Because sometimes like I've gotten Amazon boxes that were like so like beaten up,
hmm
and every Google one I've gotten is one day I'm hoping that when I order a Google box, there's just gonna be a ribbon, like one of those perfect ribbons on top, and like a note saying for Jacob, and it's just like a love letter from Google.
God. So 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 yeah, I think they pay premium with FedEx. I have a feeling. Like we didn't pay for
They
we
have
didn't
to.
like it's
It,
$25 or more for free shipping. I'm like,
it was just
okay,
like normal shipping.
yeah,
Well,
take that.
I think it was like $5 shipping or something.
But nonetheless, enough about their speedy shipping. So on to the controller.
Yes,
When
yes.
Jacob
Because
told
I've
me,
had many thoughts about this, and I do want to preface this by saying it is probably my second favorite controller out of any controller I've held, only second to the GameCube controller.
so when Jacob told me that the feel of the controller is none like the other. Um, okay, I'll briefly describe the sort
Well,
of
okay,
layout of it.
real quick. I do want to say this. So I've been a gamer a lot longer than Jack. I've been a gamer since I was like 3 years old, basically.
Uh,
So
I
I've
mean,
gone through many controllers, and I only say this because I know that like you took a long break from gaming.
oh yeah, because like for me, I never had an actual console. I did have the Xbox 360 back in like high school, but I never
Yeah,
touched
and I
it.
won my Xbox, my first Xbox.
Yeah, I
But
never
it's a
like
story for another day.
yeah, I never like played it exclusively because I just had other stuff to do. And
Yeah,
when college started, when I met Jacob, I was still like in between, playing. I was more of a
and
mobile
I
gamer.
changed that.
Yeah, I was more of a mobile gamer at that time. Then he changed it. He introduced me to Steam. I was on Steam for a couple of years. The reason why I say I was on Steam for a couple of years because afterwards it got really iffy with Steam, especially because I was on a Mac. Especially because I was on a
Well,
Mac.
yeah, that's the biggest reason. I mean, don't get me wrong. If there are good Steam games, and we'll just play them on Steam, I still think Steam is like one of the best, like PC, computer library,
Yeah, yeah, but
game
like
libraries.
honestly though, it's like it would be a lot better if I had a PC net rather than an actual Mac.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
there were so many limitations with the Mac, but at that point it was okay because
yeah. Because we
it was
weren't playing like
a PC
when.
exclusive kind of games or
Yeah,
any.
yeah.
Then I bought a Nintendo Switch. Uh, it
Which
has changed since then.
it's basically the Switch that like we're playing constantly on
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Because like as good as Stadia is, and I will never say it's not good, because it's great. We just want to play Smash.
yeah,
That's basically
or
what
other
it comes
games.
down to.
Yeah,
We just want to play Smash or like these other games that are on Switch. I mean,
I
don't
mean,
get me wrong. When Cyberpunk 2077 comes out, I'm probably going to be playing that,
yeah,
and Switch isn't getting that. Neither do I kind of trust Switch with it because I don't think it has the power to be that beautiful.
yeah.
But
It's a hub.
Stadia does because we're only taking care of streaming like it was a movie.
Yeah. Um. So the controller.
Yes, the controller.
Well, I'm drawing it back again. The controller. So the reason I say it's not like the other because I've been using the Nintendo Switch Pro controller for like at least 2 3 years at this point. No, 2 years, 1 to 2 years actually. And when I saw the Stadia controller before I actually got it, it looks like the PlayStation's like DualShock or whatever layout, Basically, it has
Yeah.
two of the thumbsticks or analog sticks at the bottom, and the D pad on the top left, and your button layout. So it was like that, and I don't like that kind of layout. I
Yeah,
prefer,
I'm with you there too. I do like the Xbox styled layout a lot better.
yeah,
But with that said, there are a lot of things, and that's like the only thing I don't like about the controller.
yeah, and well,
Everything else, like through the texture and the feel of like
oh
the
yeah,
back of the controller,
when
feels
I
so wonderful. The analog sticks are like, I mean, shit, man, they are so smooth.
Yeah, like when I first got it, I did a little personal unboxing, and when I picked it up, I was like, this is pretty heavy, and it has a good weight to it. And when I put my hands on it, it felt rather natural. Besides the point of the analog sticks being at the bottom, because I had to get
Yeah,
used to that, because I'm used to having like the pros, like the Xbox, Nintendo
the
Switch,
Xbox layout.
yeah, the Xbox layout. So I played a little bit. I played a couple hours last night. Get a feel for it because the D pad is usually for like items and stuff. So it's kind of weird for me to go up rather than go down to get the to
Yeah,
use it. So it was almost a learning curve sort of to get used to that kind of layout. But hey, $70 for this controller is nice.
yeah.
Uh,
For a controller this nice, which like you could use this on a Chromecast, a phone, a computer, and like probably even more. Just plug a USB cable into it, and now you could use it for other things. It's really, really nice.
the only thing I was so confused last night that I didn't realize I was making a huge mistake. The button layout for your ABXY.
Yeah.
They are completely flipped from the Nintendo Pro Switch controllers. So
Which we want to say again is what Jack is used to.
yes, I've been using this controller for 1 to 2 years, and you play on a Switch, handheld. You've been using the
No,
same
no, yeah,
thing.
I do understand. The other thing that you kind of have to realize is like on most controllers, even if like buttons are, even if buttons are flipped, they are still going to be in the same place. So like to reload on in like COD or something, I think it was like X or Y or something.
It'd
It
probably be
should,
Y. Yeah,
but on a Stadia controller, it would probably just be X.
it is. Like it's the left button in this case.
Yeah, the left button. So
Well,
like
don't.
the layout, like the inputs are still probably going to be the same, but the layout is different.
But before that, I think the A and B is switched on the Xbox controller ones. But
Yeah,
nonetheless,
probably. Well, they
so
can't copy each other.
yeah. Well, I totally speak about Stadia. They're completely different. But anyways, the reason why I bring that up is because when it says like when you connect to your device, it says, "Oh, do this button input like left a B or something like that," right? So I have one where it was A left, Y down. I kept hitting X as Y because that's what the button and that's the button input for the Switch. So I was like, great, it doesn't work. So I was telling Jacob last night. At that point I was pretty sure it was just, no, he was awake. It was around 10 something when I first did it. I had to play with the cable. I was like, it
Oh
sucks.
yeah, you did say that.
I was like, I had to play with the cable. Then afterwards, well, that's when my internet also cut out too. For a few hours, my internet cut out, and I was devastated. I was bored out of my mind. Um,
That real quick, that is one of the downsides to Stadia.
oh yeah, you
If you
need to
don't have
have
internet, you don't have a game.
yeah, you need to have also you also need to have stable high speed connection. If you
Well,
have stable,
especially for multiplayer games, I think you
yeah,
can kind of get away sometimes with like single player games.
yeah, campaign games and stuff like when you play with
You
other people.
probably don't want to do it for like Cyberpunk 2077, but if you're playing like Tetris, you could probably get away with it.
Yeah, or other like solo campaign kind of games, and
Yeah,
if you have
but
like
yeah, that is one of the biggest caveats. I also do want to bring in. I think one of the reasons why Stadia is getting so much criticism is because Google had promised a lot on launch, and there's still some things that they haven't launched that they had promised.
Hmm.
And my view on it is just like they're entering a brand new space that people haven't entered for literal years, like decades even.
I mean, albeit
So,
The Xbox One Pass kind of has it, but it's not as to the extent of Stadia though.
oh yeah, yeah. So it's like you have to give Stadia the benefit of the doubt because they're entering the gaming space, which has been dominated by Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo for I mean, I can't even remember when it wasn't those three.
Well, yeah,
So
because it
now
was
that they're joining, it's
around when we
like,
were born. The Nintendo was pretty popping because of Pokemon.
well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like those three are like the three gaming giants.
Well,
That like, if you're in gaming, and I'm just talking about consoles, by the way.
yeah, console wise.
Yeah, because PC, it's just like if you have a PC, doesn't matter the OS, you could play games on it. So I'm just not including that at all.
I mean, in all honesty, you would find a lot of more Nintendo stuff in any PS5 than Xbox in a family setting.
Oh well, yeah, yeah.
So like,
The Nintendo Switch literally brought me back to Nintendo because growing up, I was with Nintendo the entire time until
until the
I got
Wii,
a PS. What?
until the Wii.
Well, well, yeah. So I got the Wii, and then I was looking for like the next thing, and this was right before the DSi came out. I had the choice to wait a few months for the DSi or get a PSP 3000. I ended up getting a PSP because I wanted something new.
Yeah.
And then I just then I won an Xbox 360 at one of those like scammed arcade games. Yes, I actually won it. So suck on that. I probably put in as much as much money as it would normally cost
Cost
though.
it. So you didn't
um,
win. You paid for it.
the game said I won. So and then I got an Xbox One. And then actually, I think I got a PS4 and then an Xbox One. And then just seeing that Nintendo wasn't that like they weren't entering like the power race because each new PlayStation and each new Xbox are like we could do this. They're basically having like a dick measuring competition. Like
Well,
this is what ours can do. Well, this is what ours can do, and Nintendo's just sitting back like we're just gonna go have fun.
well,
And so they
well.
made the Switch, which like, I mean, the concept of that it's just so amazing. The fact that it's like both a console and a handheld in one is so amazing.
Well, for I want to say is that Nintendo Switch, the only first, okay, the two times they went into the console is with the N64 as a console, and then they went on to like the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and all that. Then the Game Boy XP, the Nintendo DS,
The DSi,
DS, and all of that. Then you went back into the console with the Wii. Now,
oh no, it was the Wii U. The Wii was already out by that time.
well, yeah, I'm saying like they went back into the console world with Wii, and then they came out with a Wii U with teams with a pad.
No,
Now,
again, the Wii was already out by the time the DSi came out.
well, I'm still saying I'm talking about they went back into the console verse with the Wii.
No, they went back with the Wii U. That's what I'm saying.
No, they went back with the Wii. Like they
No,
start.
because the Wii was already out. Oh my
It was
god.
already. It was already out, sure. But I'm saying they went into the world of consoles, back into the world of consoles with the Wii. Like there wouldn't be a Wii U without the Wii. Come on.
Let's see. The Wii U came out 20. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You are way off with that because they came out with the Wii in 2006 and the Wii U in 2012.
Really? It took 6 years. Damn.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They came out with the Wii, and that was basically the last time they were in the console area
Well,
for 6
N64.
years.
Well, N64.
N64 was before GameCube.
Yeah. Wait, is GameCube Nintendo?
Yes! The Nintendo game. Oh my god, Jeff.
I've only heard as GameCube, never as Nintendo GameCube.
The Nintendo GameCube. Oh my god.
Hey, it shows you how much
This is what I'm dealing with.
Hey, and don't forget, we established the fact that I just recently got back into the gaming world. Before that, I only had a Game Boy Color with Pokemon, maybe
Yes, it
half
was.
the Game Boy Advance.
So I am gonna leave the earlier ones out. So as far as I'm aware, it was the Nintendo 64, then the GameCube, then the Wii. 6 years later, it was the Wii U. So you can't say that they came back with the Wii because the Wii has been out for 6 years. So they had a bunch of these other handhelds, and they came back with the Wii U, and then 5 years later, they came out with the Nintendo Switch, which is absolutely amazing. And if
The,
anyone doesn't have one and they're looking for a console, get the Switch.
oh yeah. I think your parents were more okay with it because there's not much for shooting games. They're more like family
There
friendly.
still are. Well, oh,
They're,
you're talking about for other people. Oh,
yeah, for other
no,
people.
on me. I was like, they don't care.
No, like yeah, no. I'm talking like
Like Call of Duty, they know
if
what I'm
you
like.
if you want your parents to buy you a Switch, but if you want your parents to buy you something and you want a console, I would say Nintendo Switch is a better option between the two, mainly because there's a lot more family-friendly games.
And
Your
not only
parents,
that, there's games that you can play with your family.
yeah, like like oh, we can play this together. Versus Xbox and PS5 is like it's more of like you know sweaty gamers, if you know what that means. Um, God,
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other great part, which I found amazing, is the Joy Cons, the controllers.
oh yeah, the
You
HD
get a
Rumble.
Nintendo
Mm.
Switch. No, not even that. You get a Nintendo Switch. It comes with two controllers because all you have to do is turn the controller sideways, and now you have two controllers. That part alone also blew my mind. Like almost every part of the Switch blew my mind even further. Just with the dual portability, it's incredibly portable. It's like maybe what would you say? Maybe like two Pixel 4s and XLs in length, maybe a little less than that, size
The
wise, with the
screen.
controllers on the side.
Uh,
No, I'm talking
uh,
about like full width. Like it's not that big of a device. It's
it's not.
completely portable, and you could just bring the dock around, which all it requires is like a wall outlet and just an HDMI cord. And now you have, and not only are you playing it like on the train, when you get to your friend's house, you can just plug the dock in, and now hook it up to a TV, and there you go. You are now playing a console. You are now playing like a console instead of like a handheld. And
So
then you just
so
take the Joy Cons out, hand it to your friend, turn it sideways, and now you are playing multiplayer games.
yeah, only the ones that support the Joy-Con that way. Some games
Well,
don't do that.
I guess it's more of only the ones that support like multiplayer. Because if it supports multiplayer, it supports the single Joy-Con. Because if
Yeah,
you're bringing up Smash Bros, that
yeah,
also does.
yeah. Oh, I don't think you heard that burp, but I burped a little bit there. Um, but I know the reason I brought that up because I saw the spike when I burped.
I heard it. I don't know
uh,
if other people
oh,
will.
that means they will hear it. Oh boy. Um, I'm not gonna cut any of this.
Ha ha! You burped.
So I just did. I put on tape measuring because I have the switch right next to me. It's 9.5 inches by 4 inches.
Yeah, so it's like it's not that big. It's incredibly portable. You go if you're going on a plane, it's very easy to take it on a plane. And it's an entire console. Like just saying that 3 years later still is just absolutely amazing to me.
Okay, so we're at. Hold on, let me see. About the 55-minute range, and I do want to talk about. I think we got most of our topics that we want to talk about. Because we came up like, oh, there's nothing to talk about. And then lo and behold, we talk more than we need to. But the thing I do want to
That's
bring up,
usually the case with us. If we don't know what to talk about, we end up talking about we talked about cables for the first half of this.
that was at least like 30 minutes. No, no, that
That's
was
what I
20 minutes.
say.
That was 20 minutes.
Oh,
Okay, I
because
wrote it
you wrote
down.
it down.
Yes. Um, um, yeah. So what I want to bring up is that the Nintendo Switch Pro. Well,
Yeah,
they're not the naming, the actual naming. Who knows what's going to be named? But that's what they want
the
to call
the
it.
one that's rumored to be coming out.
Or the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever it is. Like, I got my Switch for
Two,
about
if we're going with the Apple way of naming things, Pro, Pro Max. We're going with the Google way of naming things,
numbers.
XL. If we're going with the Samsung way of naming things, uh,
Ultra.
S.
No, it's
Yes,
Ultra.
Ultra.
Hey,
So,
I'm right here.
so
You should ask me. I know what I'm talking
I was trying to do it on my own. Give me some credit.
about. I mean,
So
the reason why people are saying calling it a Pro is because they have the Switch Lite. So it's
yeah,
like,
they have the Switch Lite. So now the Pro, and the Pro is supposed to be that much better.
and how they saying it better? They're gonna have a 720 LCD display on the handheld version. I think are we at 720 on the current one? I can't remember.
I'm
But
not sure.
we're gonna have 4K when it's docked, better performance obviously for the 4K functionality. Then you have better battery. So
Yeah,
basically, it's gonna be a huge hardware kind of upgrade to the current one. Now, is it gonna still be $300? I do not know. We do not
probably
know.
not.
And
Probably not.
the thing is, Nintendo is really
Oh,
tight.
real quick, that's another great thing about it. It's also like one of the cheapest consoles
Oh
on the
yeah,
market.
$300.
Yeah, all things considering, that's incredibly reasonable.
Like PS5, that's five. That's $499, or is it $399? Yeah, three ninety
It,
nine.
let me put it to you this way: it's not 300.
It is three. It's $29.99. I don't know what you're talking about. Not 20. Two ninety nine.
29.99. Oh well, looks like I know what I'm getting.
Hey, you got yours for a penny. Remember?
Ah, that's a story for another time. Disclaimer: I didn't really get it for a penny,
You got me
that's a
for a while.
story. Again, that's a story for another time. If
Uh,
someone in the comments if someone comments that you really want to hear that story, then I'll tell that story because it is so great how long Jack fell for it. Anyway,
yeah. So the Nintendo Switch Pro,
so
or
I think the biggest question here is if you already have a Switch, should you get the Pro?
well, it depends on what. Well, right now, Nintendo's always been the biggest tight-lipped people ever, like in the game in world of gaming, because like you don't know what's going. Well, one being because they're in Japan, the other side of the world, so it's kind of hard. And you have to translate a lot
Well,
of things
now we
into
have
Japanese.
Bowser at the head of Nintendo, and
Well,
yes, I said that
that's New
purposely.
York. That's not New York, America.
No,
Nintendo
no,
America.
I know.
Yeah, but we don't know anything for the Japanese side, which where everything happens, the magic happens, as you would say. Um,
Yeah.
so it depends. For me, it really depends. First off, the pricing. If it's still three hundred
Oh yeah.
dollars, if it's
I
still three
mean, yeah.
hundred
If it's three
dollars,
hundred dollars, yes, 100% get it. If they also still use the same docking system, that's even better. Because
yeah.
then,
Well,
because if
they
the if
wouldn't work though. It wouldn't work though because the docking would be the one that does the 4K.
no, because that could be all software based.
It could be, but like I feel like the main power will come from the dock.
No, because think about all the third party docks. Because a lot of the third party docks, you could also just plug in an HDMI and whatnot.
Yeah, but like I
It's
said,
all being done on the software. At least to my understanding, there's very few things that the dock is actually doing. The dock is basically there to charge the device, handle some USB ports, and then just act as a dock. It's not doing any extraneous stuff. I
yes, I
think
mean,
that's all being taken care of through software.
well, okay. So if they have an upgraded dock with a fan on it, would be great.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Which would
Uh,
also probably increase the price. And again, that's the biggest thing. If it's $100 more, then I think it's like,
I don't
well,
know.
what?
The thing is, like, it also depends on the games too. Like, if the games
Well,
straight,
all of the Switch games that are probably going to work on it.
but what about the newer
'Cause-
games on the old Switch? Though that's the thing.
well, here's the big thing about that. They probably will work. You may get some lag, and the only reason why I say they probably will work is because most of the games I got are all like digital. I have
Yeah, I
very
know.
few hard
Yeah,
copies.
it's digital, but sometimes it's gonna be like how
I
Xbox and
think the other
PS5
big
do.
thing is size. What if it's too big?
Oh, it's gonna be bigger. I think they
Well,
said it's gonna
how
be bigger.
much? Because again, that's the thing. If it's too big and starts getting into like tablet area of size, it kind of ruins, you know,
The handheldness.
the handheldness. Yeah,
Oh, you know what
because
it
then
is? I
instead of
think.
being able to hold it like a Game Boy, now you're holding
Uh,
it like a tablet with one hand and or order
well, I
to do
think
stuff.
they wouldn't lower the bezel, the border around the screen, mainly because that's where you put your fingers on. So you don't want that to be triggering it. So I think they want
Yeah,
they might.
it's gonna be incredibly interesting, and I don't want to say when there's more leaks. I'd say when we get more information, we'll probably talk about that.
Yeah, but like if like the few things I would say that if the price point is about $100 more, they better have a fan on the dock. They probably better have bigger internal storage. Like yes, you can get an SD card, but internal storage is just better. Um,
Actually,
memory.
no, I'm kind of digging the SD card because with it, you can move things over and
Yeah,
just like videos and whatnot. You
but
could
still,
just take up.
I would still want a bigger
But I
internal
do
storage.
like the bigger internal storage for games.
Yeah. Um, maybe a different Joy-Con, but I think
No,
not
I
really.
really like the Joy Cons. Although one of the things that I have been getting recently, only from the Joy Cons, is when I play too long, my finger will feel like it's getting stuck. But like something goes on with my
Yeah,
bone.
it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, the Joy Cons doesn't have like a handle, so to speak, like other normal controllers where you can grab onto. It really isn't like it's like a flat back, and I get why they do it. They do it so it doesn't when you play a two-player mode or two players with that single Joy-Con. It makes it a lot easier. With
Yeah, it
yeah,
makes complete sense. We're not saying it doesn't. It's just I've had times where like I've tried to move my pinky back up and it feels like it's locked
yeah, because it's
and I'm
because
like,
you hold you
basically.
hold your fingers flat against it, so there really isn't
Yeah,
like
and as a gamer, I've been in
controller.
situations where I've held that controller for like 3 hours straight, and then like I finally move it, and I'm like, no, you're supposed to move this way. Come on.
And I also think like, if they give maybe different USB ports, maybe like with the two right now is fine. I'm should do we need more? I
Oh,
don't
you're
know.
talking about on the dock.
Yeah, I'm like at this point the actual console, the Nintendo Switch,
I think it's fine
as it
so I'm
is,
looking
yeah.
at my dock right because I'm looking at my dock right now. What I have plugged into it, I have the HDMI. I
Hmm.
have like a USB splitter. Nothing is plugged into it.
Hmm.
Actually, yeah, no, nothing. On the other side, I have the Nintendo GameCube controller adapter plugged in, and that's it.
Okay, all right. I mean, there really isn't much to say about it, but if the price point is right, even though I only have my Switch for a year or two, I might just have to get it.
Well, you know what you
Um,
can do with your current Switch, right?
I give it to my sister. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
We're already at past the hour mark, but I do want to say this really quickly. My sister is not a gamer.
But that's one of the things. Like Nintendo has been known for like
Okay,
making
okay.
good games for non-gamers too.
Well, the reason why I say that the reason why I say that she's not a gamer because she doesn't have the gaming sense. Like
Well, yeah, yeah. My
it's like
sister, I forced to play games with me, so she does have more of a gaming sense. She appreciates games a lot more, but there is that level of like, it is also really hard to be like, hey, check this game out, and her actually go
okay.
play it and not
It's
be
it's
like,
it's it's not like checking the games. I was like when we play, Ring Fit together, because when I do play Ring Fit, she wants to play games on it. But
I was
besides
about to say I don't play Ring Fit.
when I like, okay,
I
when you
don't need
see
to lose the weight.
when you play games, shut up. When you play games, like at certain points, it's like, oh, there's a golden one, hit that, like it gets more points. Well, for her, it doesn't register as you get more points if you hit that. It's more of, oh, it's just a different color to her. And then,
Well, yeah, and I'd say for beginning gamers, that's okay. Well,
I
also because like that's something that you saw early on.
well,
If
yeah,
that
yeah.
text came up in front of her,
Oh
she
no, no, no,
probably
no.
would have.
She was standing next to me the entire time. It didn't say there was more points for it. It was just,
No,
I
no,
just
that's the
knew.
thing. And that's the thing, and that comes more from experience from being
Yeah,
a gamer. You
yeah.
know, like if as a gamer, if I go into a new game, no instructions, almost guaranteed, I'm gonna figure out how to move
Yes.
because movement is basically the
Oh
same
yeah.
across
Oh yeah.
every game.
Yeah,
On top of that, if I see like rings coming at me and I see one white, default I know, okay, that's probably worth 1 point. If I see a gold one, I'll be like, that's either 3 or 10 points. But that comes from literal decades of gaming.
well, and then another thing is that I realized that because I would play Tetris more than often than not with her. Um, she likes to use the analog sticks over the D-pad.
Oh,
Um,
that's pure preference.
yeah, that's
That's
pure
pure
preference.
preference.
But when I see her play, it's like there really isn't much of like, oh, it was like, eh. So it's like
Again,
there was a lot more into it. Like,
when we play with each other, we're competitive.
oh yeah, and
You
not
know,
only that,
and because of that, we've gotten into certain mindsets of like, okay, this is what I need to do, and then we'll turn to people who aren't as competitive, and we'll be like, huh, maybe I should chill.
well, like the thing is, I also have the 51 Treehouse Club games, and we'll play that once in a while. Excuse me. And at one point we have to like pick a card across the screen, and I just see them like moving slowly. I'm like, you just do that, It's like just it's one concise movement. They just go
again,
left, right. It's just
again, it
uh,
comes from our years of gaming
yeah,
experience.
but
It's like you can't have someone who has never driven a car before
yeah,
and like here's a car, get into it and start racing. You can't do that because they'll probably not make it.
yeah.
But
It's just
with
weird.
with people who have, I mean, when we first started gaming, we probably did the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
so you do have to give those beginner gamers
I mean,
a
the thing,
massive benefit of the
why
doubt.
the reason why I kind of
I mean,
like make
when I got you into gaming again, how do you think I felt about you?
well, okay, but like
anyway, I think this is a good moment to stop on. We have passed that hour mark, as you had said before.
yeah. So this is Jack
And Jacob.
signing off.